Mama's in Control, episode 30.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to just hop on and tell you guys about my experience coaching with Heather. So I've been with her for, I don't even know, a couple months. It feels like it's probably only been 4 months, I'm guessing. But I have had such a great experience, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. The biggest game changer for me has definitely been what she calls energetic time management, and she's taught me. And why it's so important, and what I've learned a ton from her on is, I was able to set goals and come up with them quickly and easily and effortlessly. And the biggest thing that I was looking to manifest was more time and energy to write a book. And so I have completely done that. I don't even know where that time and energy has come from, honestly, because I have the same life, same kids, job, all the responsibilities at home and everything, but somehow I have manifested this time and energy to write every day. And so it's just been a game changer for me, the energetic time management. The other thing that I love about Heather is just the way her program is structured. So it's quick and easy. I've had a lot of coaches, therapists, done a lot of 1-hour sessions. And I love how these are quick and laser focused. And she's very talented at getting right to the issue, at the heart of the matter, what you need to hear right then. And I think she has a really strong intuition and can tell me what to do and what my next step should be. And then I just take that, and it just feels so easy, and she's amazing. So the other thing I just wanted to mention, because it was a big deal for me, is the money stuff. So when I first talked to Heather, and even when I first sort of came across her online and stuff, I knew in my gut that I had to work with her. And even when I talked to her about the money stuff, I still felt in my gut that I wanted to work with her, but I had a huge resistance thing around the money. So I just wanted to say to anyone who's having that same issue, my money stuff came up just right away, just right then, and she was able to coach me through it just in that moment before I'd even hired her. So it's your stuff. Your stuff just comes up. I don't know what it's about, but now I haven't thought twice about the money. The money is worth every penny. I don't even know what my issue was exactly. Probably fear. It's probably a resistance, fear. Do I really want to invest this amount of money in myself? And I guess what I have to say to you is, if you're having those questions, yes, you do. It's totally worth it. And I just can't say enough good things. So I think you listen to your gut, and I'm so glad that I did.
Welcome to Mama's in Control, where it's all about helping women redefine the beautiful mess called life and parenting and take back control of what they truly desire. And now, here is your host, Heather Chauvin. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That means my husband, because he's listening probably. This is how he knows what I actually do. He listens to my podcast. He subscribed to my podcast. Anywho, today I want to talk about something that I've been hearing a lot lately, which is my child does not respect me. Who can agree? Give me a little amen across the podcast world. A little amen. Yes, Heather, totally. My child does not respect me. They talk back to me constantly. How can I get my child to respect me? Well, I will tell you. But before I tell you and give you some tips and strategies and insider perspective, because that's what I'm all about, helping you evolve the way that you live, the way that you work, the way that you parent, the way that you parent, and just be. Because if we don't change how we show up in our lives, if we don't change our habits, nothing's going to change. So oftentimes what happens is we go in circles and circles and circles, and we're doing the same thing, right? Having the same conversations over and over and over again, and we're expecting a different result. Didn't Albert Einstein say that's the form or definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome? I think so. So why, as a human species, do we expect change when we are doing the exact same thing, right? This is why I'm such an advocate for coaches and mentors and coaching programs, AKA asking for help. There have been so many times in my life that I've asked for help. There have been so many mentors in my life. And it actually wasn't until I just surrendered and said, I do not feel in control and I don't know what I'm doing. So I need to feel in control. And in order to do that, I have to kind of step back and get out of my own way and ask for help. So listening to this podcast is kind of asking for help, right? You're seeking out inspiration, you're seeking out mentorship, and that's what I do on a daily basis. So how do we get our kids to respect us? Well, one, we have to stop. We just have to stop the chaos. We absolutely have to stop. We have to breathe, and we have to step back. So whether this is a day to yourself or 5 minutes, in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom, lying in fetal position, bawling your eyes out, whatever you need to do, you need to create space for yourself. Because what happens is when when there's this relationship in your life, and this can be with children, this can be with a partner, a spouse, a friend, a colleague, whoever, where you're holding on for dear life, like you need to respect me. There's this grabbing energy. You have to let it go. And in order to do this, you have to remove yourself from the situation and just feel the shit fully. You have to feel all of your tears. You have to feel all of the overwhelm, the guilt, the anger, the shame, everything. It's going to feel like a bajillion bricks are on your chest and like you're going to die. But I will tell you, you are not going to die. These are just emotions. So when we're in this relationship with a child, and I'm saying this as an observer, so I'm saying this as somebody that's not involved in your relationship. Trust me when I say that I have my own shit to deal with. We all have our own stuff. But when we're able to step back, right, and when I'm looking at somebody's relationship, so a parent and a child relationship, I'm not emotionally involved. So this is where we get ourselves in trouble when we're emotionally involved because we have extra blinders on, right? We can't see because we're in it. So that's why we need an outsider to say, what am I not looking at and what can I not see? And I understand that that's a vulnerable place to be, and I've done that many, many times. And when you have somebody that comes from a loving aspect of, this is what I'm noticing. And you go, oh, okay. So I love being called out on my stuff. And I also like supporting other people who want to become the best versions of themselves. Because when we're doing this work, it tickles. It doesn't always feel good. There's resistance. We don't like change. So when a child is coming to you and this child is disrespecting you, this can show up in forms of, back talk or whatever. My dear friend, she's not a friend, but I hope to be her friend someday, Byron Katie, look her up, Byron, Katie, Katie. If you've never heard of her, it's called The Work. That's what she calls herself. So I think if you go to thework.com or thework.org or just Google Byron Katie, she's very well known. And she has a book called Loving What Is. And Byron Katie talks about, we teach people how to treat us. And it's so true because when I even look at my own children and I think, I'm teaching them how to treat me. So if I don't have boundaries up, or if they're, crapping all over me, it's like, whoa, you've just crossed a boundary. So it's an ongoing, right? It's a maintenance thing. So number one, I want you to realize that when our children back talk to us, that means they actually feel safe with us. So a lot of times when we're yelling or when we are in a screaming match with our children, it's because we want to be heard and we just want the yelling to stop. But we're actually, we're putting more gasoline on the fire, and that's not getting anywhere. So what's actually happening is we're disconnecting our trust with our children. So when you're disconnecting the trust with your children, what's happening is your child is becoming afraid of you, and they no longer trust you, and they don't want to feel open with you. So they're actually becoming closed, and they're becoming they're shut off to the world. So then you go on your day, And, they're no longer back talking because you screamed at them, like, don't treat me like that, yada, yada, yada. Go to your room. I'm going to take this away from you. I'll take everything away from you except eating because you're just so angry and frustrated. And that's why discipline doesn't work, because you're not listening to the child. You're not implementing. And I'm saying all this with loving kindness. You may not want to hear it, but I'm telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Because I love you, and because I know that you truly want to repair the relationship with your children and anyone else in your life that you're struggling with. So when you're yelling and screaming and taking things away, it's not being of service, because you're just ripping from that child. You're taking away from that child. Not to mention what's happening in your mind when you're doing this, because you're shaming yourself, you're guilting yourself, and you're pretty much crapping all over yourself because you feel like a horrible human being. So, and then the child is saying, screw you, you're being awful to me, and now I feel awful about myself, so pretty much fuck you, right? And then you're like going deeper and deeper in this hole of feeling like a complete failure as a parent and saying, what am I doing wrong? I do everything for my child. I give them everything that they want. I cook for them. I am busting my ass, burning myself out to pay for the bills, and they don't respect me, yada, 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 yada. So this is where I stop, take a deep breath, and exhale. And just do it a few more times if you need to. And think of that relationship that you have and how frustrated you are and how disrespected you feel. And on your next deep inhale, I want you to think about your child or that person. And I'm just simply going to ask you some questions. And Byron Katie calls it inquiry, which is more of like a meditation. So when I'm doing this work with my clients, when I say inquiry, what I mean is we're just thinking about it. We're not judging it. So is it true that your child is disrespecting you? Is it true that your child is disrespecting you? Do you absolutely know with 100% certainty that your child is disrespecting you? Or is your child just projecting, some of their anger and frustration? Are they intentionally disrespecting you? Who would you be without the thought that my child is disrespecting me? How would that feel in your body if my child was disrespecting me, was no longer in your existence, in your energy field? Just asking yourself this. And Byron Katie's last question is, turn it around. I am disrespecting my child. I am disrespecting myself. Interesting. So this is where inquiry comes into play. And I know that might have been a total mindfuck, and you would have been like, what the hell did Heather just say, or what did she just do? This is where, doing the work comes into play, where we actually have to sit, right? We have to sit with ourselves. We have to breathe. We have to listen. We have to inquiry. We can't jump to conclusions. So this is what makes me unique when I talk about parenting and compassionate parenting and loving parenting and conscious parenting. Because when we start to see our children as people, right? This angry child who's projecting their anger on me, what is going on in their mind and their body? And when we ask them, what's wrong? And they say, I don't know, or I hate you, or I had a really bad day at school. And you say, well, don't take it out on me. What that child is really saying is, I don't know how to control this urge of energy rushing through my body. And you are the only person that will let me project on you. And I'm going to explode, and I just want to cry and run away. Or worse, I don't want to be here, and I don't know how to get rid of this pain. So understanding that when your child is disrespecting you, they're actually not disrespecting you. They're demanding respect, and they're actually calling you to respect yourself more. Respect your time, respect how you feel, respect your self-care and how you want to be treated. So when I had this aha moment in my own life, things like, I want to go for a run, or I want to go to the gym, or I want to spend $50 and get a new shirt, or I don't know, maybe go to the mall by myself, or heck, maybe take a bath by myself with nobody coming in and taking a crap staring at me, right? Or somebody coming in the tub with me. Of course, I appreciate all these things, and there's a time and a place for it, but when you feel so disrespected and so empty, a nice warm bubble bath with a few candles and a book or some incense or essential oils or something can be a saving grace. But when we're not respecting ourselves enough to give ourselves that time and permission to pursue the life that we crave, when we're not listening to what our soul is craving, we're disrespecting ourselves. We cannot expect our children to give us that space. We cannot expect our spouse to give us that space. We have to ask for it because we teach people how to treat us. And this goes for our children too, right? Our children teach people how to treat them. They demand respect as well. So my kind of in control action step for you today, I want you to take a step back from this heavy situation of my child is disrespecting me and ask yourself these 4 questions. Is it true that your child is disrespecting you, or is there something else going on? So is it true your child is disrespecting you, or is there something else going on? How does my child feel disrespected right now? How am I disrespecting myself in this situation? And what can I do to turn this situation around? What can I do to turn the situation around? So I want you to know that there's always a way out. There's always a will. If there's always a will, there's always a way. And where I see people fall short is because they've lost hope. So I want you to know today, hope is there. Possibilities are endless, but we need to cultivate that energy of possibility in our body. And if we don't, and we're always focused on the negative and the shit show, nothing is ever going to change. So with a light heart and a smile on your face, taking a deep breath in and a deep exhale, just shifting your attention to the right, over there to possibility, and asking yourself, how can I create more hope and possibility in my life? Thank you so much for listening, Mama and Papa and whoever else is listening. Head on over to mamasincontrol.com, get on the newsletter list. I have something super yummy coming for you in the next few weeks. And a little hint, it has something to do about teaching your children meditation and mindfulness. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, please do so on iTunes and send us a kind review. And I have absolutely been loving the private Facebook messages and emails. Thank you. I truly appreciate you. It is nice to know that I'm not talking into a mic, and it's actually amazing to see that this is spreading worldwide. So thank you again, and know that I truly care, I truly listen, and I read and respond to 99.9% emails if I can. So thank you again. And if you've gotten anything out of these podcasts, let me know, because we all want to know that we're appreciated, and by doing so, I can give back. And I want to hear from you. I want to know what you need from me as well.
One issue I had before I started working with Heather was I felt like a mouse on a wheel. I was running around. I'd get to the end of my week and I had no idea what I'd even done with my week. It was like I was busy all of the time, but never moving forward, never accomplishing things. And working with her really gave me tons of perspective of how I could be in control of my own time. And by doing that, it helped serve my family, because I could be proactive with our week and our schedule, and really how I started showing up just in little nuances, I would say, just a little bit differently each day and each week just by taking control of that. Some frustrations I had prior to working with Heather were constant feelings of just not feeling good enough. And truly, as a mother of 3 daughters, looking at my life and saying, what kind of role model am I being for my 3 girls? And is the life that I'm leading one that I would actually want for them? I remember the moment where I started to notice that the program was really working for me. And it was when I was just starting to build a business really slowly, and I decided to do an in-person workshop. And it was something couldn't even believe I was doing. Like, who am I to host a workshop and teach other people? But through the coaching and support of Heather, helping me really tap into my own worthiness and saying, I have a message to share with other women. I remember attending the workshop and presenting and leaving that workshop with my soul feeling on fire. And I remember feeling incredible.